What's up, everybody? All right, so today I'm going to go into the Slack and communication setup that we use at our info coaching business that did 30 million in cash collected last year. So goal of this channel is just to be raw, tactical, exactly what we are doing and have done in the past, and with the hopes of helping somebody get a 2, 5, 10% lift in a piece of their business, because when you're doing millions a month, that is needle mover in top line or bottom line, depending. So these are the basic chunks that I'm going to use. I'm going to fill these in as we go. So for all team, we'll start there. We have 3 channels, and again, this is meant to just be raw. Like, I don't care about the editing and the fancy and the how to make your first 10K and all that. There's a time and place for that for sure, but not for us right now. So all team. So first thing you're gonna have is our general. So that's like the classic Slack setup. This is where we use for like announcements and all hands meetings, stuff like that. So birthdays, all of those pieces. Walking the walk is a huge piece for us as a fitness coaching business. So for us, walking the walk means anybody in the company that is walking the walk. So people do step counts, they do personal training wins, new gym wins, nutrition wins, anything like that, that they're actually doing it. We're a huge believer in someone who walks the walk is going to be a good coach, is going to be a good sales team member, is going to be a good manager, anything. You have to believe in what we do, which is selling that dream, right? And living that dream. So client wins is a fun one. This is basically started as helping the sales team. So you hear this in a lot of like sales programs, that having a client wins channel is huge. And that has 5 to 10 messages a day that gets fed from CS and the coaching team, right? Because they'll just fill it. Sales team will see like, oh, I sold this woman 2 weeks ago, 6 months ago, wherever, and they're getting success, and here's a before and after, here's any of that. So you can do this in any industry. You can do it MMO, someone, just hit 10K a month, just hit whatever. But for us, it is in fitness. So these are the ones that like all of the team are in. Operations, and I have other videos on the channel where I talk about a bit of the team setup. But for operations, I just bucketed this as we have an owner's chat, which is just the couple owners of the company. So where we talk about like just stuff owners need to know and like tax stuff, and we have certain meetings and like monthly updates and stuff that we go through there. And then we also have an automated tracker that goes into there with like basically a day over day, week over week, month cash flow statement that we all see. So it's just stuff that's like a little bit higher level goes into there. Now, another piece of this is, like I just said, dashboards. So I'll go through, there's dashboards in a ton of these that are specific to the actual department, which is huge. So the whole point of this, of the Slack setup in general, is for communication, having the right people in the right buckets, and then like really, again, just driving behavior and streamlining it so it's not confusing, but like it's the most efficient way to do it, right? So even as I went through this, like you'll see I'll start to talk about stuff that I'm like, oh, maybe we could like combine these or cut these, but that's where we're at. So operations, this is going to be our like C level, you could call it. So I have other videos on the channel where I talk about this, but this is essentially going to be like CMO, sales manager, me leading tech, CS, product, CEO, right? Like all the department heads. And this is a weekly meeting cadence, but this is like the higher level stuff. And for us, these are like really strong leaders. So everyone comes together in this meeting and then also in this channel to have communication that then funnels down into the rest of the company on like how they lead their departments. Operations reports. So all of the people on this operations team do a weekly report on what got done, where you stuck, all of that, kind of like classic one-to-one report. And then that is brought into a weekly cadence of one-to-one meetings that happen with CEO and then me as well. And I'm like in this weird CTO, COO role, but again, like only operator in terms of like herding this team and making sure that, or facilitating, I guess probably better way to say it, of this team in terms of meetings and communication and all that. So that's ops reports. Human resources, the fun one everyone loves. So human resources for us, we have 105, I believe, 106 right now, W-2 employees, and then a handful of contractors that are external or out of country, depending, whatever, out of US for us. So we have a payroll channel. So this is essentially the actual dollars. So this has automated things that'll go into here. Oh, and then quick back on this. So I want to try and cover what happens automated too, because that's super important. So the owner's one, like I said, is the cash flow statement. Operations, this is an operations dashboard that comes into here every day that will have like basically the stats from yesterday, everything from new rev to units to booking count, cost per sale, everything, like what drives the business in that way. And then we also have an operations dashboard that we use that has specific KPIs in it that each person brings to the table that comes before this meeting. So I'll do another video that's about the actual meeting cadence and what happens on those, but this is just the communication setup. So payroll is going to be the dollars. So this is going to be just a couple people that are basically HR lead, and then some of the owners, or all the owners, and then some of the people in operations to see like the actual dollars going out. We do it bi-weekly right now. HR operations is going to be the more tactical stuff, like back and forth and when there's issues and pieces that happen there. So again, small team on here, small team on here. HR support, this one's a bit wider. So this is going to include the people that are also in onboarding. So when there's like random issues and stuff like that, they generally speaking will go back to like who is onboarding or leading the department in those pieces. So this one is going to include just the basically owners and a couple operations. This one's going to include more people that has connection to people that can submit issues or whatever comes up. Onboarding setup, this is dedicated to HR of onboarding. So that's tech setup, that's making sure they're getting the right pieces, that's making sure that W-9s or I-9s or whatever are signed, like all of those pieces, that they're getting access to the right platforms. We use Rippling right now, we use Gusto forever, so making sure they have that. And then terminations, this is an automated one that when someone's terminated in our system, then they get pushed into here. And then also where like requests are done. So if there's someone who is terminated in XYZ way, it'll get pushed into there. We'll make sure all the processes is followed through there. All right, now the first one that most people are interested in, and the big one, or one of the big ones, I guess, marketing. So I'm gonna try and rip through these as best I can, but copywriting. So this was the OG marketing channel. So this copywriting channel has been around for like 4 years. So since we were doing like $1 million a year, we've had this copywriting channel, and it essentially was our marketing one. But so copywriting is literally just copywriter, CMO, and then the couple operations team. So like me, Luke, and a couple others that are in this copywriting channel. All things copy get done in here, email cadence, changing, updating, any of that. And then same thing with like VSL scripts will happen, ad scripts will happen, page thing, just all of that happens in copywriting. Marketing, this is like the everyone is in it in marketing. And we did not have this up until like a few months ago, until we just brought in a new CMO, which is actually this week. But a month ago or so, we actually made this and centralized everything, because marketing was almost acting siloed. And as I talk more in these videos, you'll see like that was a clear, like not good plan that we had, right? Everyone in their own buckets and like not working and seeing all the same data. So marketing is where we're going to have all of the dashboards and all that go into. So marketing will get an open spots snapshot basically. So they'll see how many bookings are on day, the percentage of booked, and then out 14 days. So they can constantly adjust spends and make sure that they're hitting the 80% target. And then also just like an overall tracker. So I have other videos where I go through the tracker, but like cost per lead, cost per app, cost per booking, cost per sale, all those zap into here. And then all things communication around marketing. So now that we're doing new offers and low ticket and all that all goes into there. Creative paid, this is going to be like the actual creative, so editing side of things for the paid, and then creative for the organic. The organic one has more communication in it because it includes more people. So because it's actually creating it, it is posting it more or less, and then it is putting it across all the places, and then notifying copywriting that they can like send emails to it. So example, new podcast or videos made, gets edited, they have all their comms in there about that. Once it is edited, it is posted live, so it's distributed. Then tech team will take it and put it on the website and all the other relevant locations. Then they'll notify email of the copywriting team, and then they will be able to send emails to it to get that initial boost and then just add value, right? So again, I can have other videos that I make about like ClickUp boards and all that jazz, but that's just this. Marketing feedback, this is just a survey that we have somewhere built in there that gives feedback to marketing on why they came in, what they saw, what was most interesting to them to try and get market feedback. Talent development, this is the operations side of talent development. So we have multiple brand faces that we are testing. This entire time to do 70 million cash collected or whatever so far, we've used one brand face who's the co-founder, co-owner, and just like superstar. So she has been the brand face up until now. So now we are trying to go wider and have less founder risk in terms of all of the things actually. So like traffic source, brand face, product, everywhere. We're just trying to get wider in that with more, while also staying like hyper focused on like a couple specific offers that can crank with multiple faces. Okay. So this is the operations of that. So this will have the couple people who are in charge of managing that. So for us, it's like chief of product / people. It's going to be the CMO, creative director, all those pieces. And this is where they basically talk about the operation side of it. And then these are the dedicated channels that have the different brand faces in them who are external. So we're like other influencers basically. So in all of these, I'm just gonna put like name one, company, all that, because I don't want to dox anyone. Then I don't think it's fair to. I wish I could share my actual Slack and just show you, but like there's sensitive information there, so I can't share customer stuff or client name or team name. Like that's just not fair to them, so I'm not gonna do that yet until I figure out a better way, or I hire an editor who can do this for me. And until then, I'm going to shoot looms and I'm going to record like this. So ads, company, external. So we have a company that does edits. This is actually kind of more so for like VSL edits, but their company name starts with ads. But so these will be VSL edits and like the crazy design, you know, the like if you see high grade direct response VSL ads, these guys edit these. We have an email one. Sometimes you have issues where when you're mass sending, your delivery and more so your open rates just like tank. So we have an external company of this guy that we basically, you know, they come up with a fix almost every time. It's this new fix. They roll it out, so we just keep this. So external meaning that in Slack, it's like an external connection. So their organization is connected with ours. They finally made it so you could like change your name on yours. So we title them all like this. So these are all the actual titles of the channel, by the way. So external, 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 and those all sit in a bucket up here in my Slack at least that shows which one have external teams in them. VSL company, so this is a VSL writer that we have, or that we basically test, and that is like a performance model guy that does that. So that's gonna have, anything basically down is gonna have all the leads of marketing, and then the specific people relevant to it, okay? So email for that, VSL, page build, same thing. So this is gonna have me, Luke, the CMO, and then, so like basically CTO, COO, CEO, CMO, and then the actual person or their team, right? So like page build, same thing here. SEO, same thing here. We have one contractor that's outside that does this. And then tracking company, external, we use a custom tracking setup. So we use Hyros. We've used Hyros for like 4 years, and we still have it on, but we don't have feeding the pixel. We have a complete custom setup for tracking that needs to have communication around it, because when you change something, you update this, you need to make sure all that's in there. So I can do another long video on that, because we have a very custom setup for that, and I'm sure they would love if we shared that. So tech, next piece. Tech is going to have the senior tech lead, myself, and then again, main operations people. So tech admin is the main channel that we will talk about, just overarching things. So a lot of times it's just me and the senior tech lead going back and forth, communicating on things. Tech support. This is an internal one that is basically, which can be confusing with the internal support. So tech support itself basically is like all the support tickets. So we have a tech ticket that launches and goes into these different buckets, and then they can basically say like which part of the company they're having an issue with. They can outline it, they can loom, and then they submit a ticket because it was getting crazy in like customer support and all these other ways of asking everything from like an email reset to like a client level thing. So we have tech support here that is basically ticket submitting that auto occurs. Internal support, we have a tech support VA that has been with the company for like 4.5 years. Absolutely crushes, but she basically logs everything she's doing because she's really, really good at SOPs. So she will come in and do every day, it'll be all these 19 things that we can't automate. And every time we post a video, it'll be do this. And then we'll upload a training, it'll get put in this back office and like all that kind of stuff. So she does all that and logs it in this internal support. And then also you can go to ask her specific things in here. It's basically like her channel. So we'll just go in there and just be, where is she internal support versus like customer support? She will support everyone on the team. SMS company, we have an external. We're testing Blue Send right now. So this is an example of another external company that we are in. So it'll be again, same people. It'll be me, it'll be senior tech lead, it'll be CEO, and app design company. This is for when we were doing design for the fulfillment for a product that's inside fulfillment. So just a design company. And then this is when we did the website overhaul. We have these guys, and they're also on call / like a ticketing system. So when we have updates and things that we need, we just put it in there. They create a ticket and it's managed through it. Okay. Sales. I hope this is super dry and fun because that's how it's supposed to be. Sales operations is the basically leadership of them. So that's going to be your sales manager. It's going to be your sales ops manager, or like coordinator, setter manager, and then all the right C-level, right? So all things dashboards pop into here for sales team of a management perspective. Okay, so you have sales team, which has like the entire actual sales team in it, and they get dashboards that are specific to their commissions and their performance, production, all that. Operations is going to get the overall manager level one, so they're going to get what was overall this, overall that, right, and beyond. Sales hot leads. This is a fun one. This is basically if people submit, it's hot leads, simply put. So anytime there's low ticket buyer, it zaps into there. Anytime there is a custom time request, zaps into there. Anytime a call is going over, pushes into there. Anytime someone has some crazy intent, pushes into there, and they claim them, comment on them, and then take them offline or into HubSpot more so. So sales team, that's just everyone. Like I said, this is the one that's going to have the most communications in here. These are notification channels. Okay, so applications pushes every time we have a new application. Opportunities every time we have a new booking. Opportunities direct every time a closer has a direct booking. So when they use their booking link to get like to a reschedule, or if they're mining the CRM because they had a no-show or whatever, these will fire into here. New clients. This is every time new purchase is made. So what actually happens is the deal is marked as one inside HubSpot, or it's actually marked as sales approval in HubSpot. They push into here, and then the leaders of sales, the ops manager and the actual sales manager, will approve them, and then they push into new clients, right? So just to make sure that no one messes anything up, the fields are all filled out correctly and all of that. So this is like the hype up channel. So this one's gonna have just, all the hype. Cohort onboarding. We onboard in different cohorts in like different buckets. So when they overlap is when we start to use 1, 2, and 3, which we've done a lot over 2024. We did this a lot where every 2 weeks we basically had them, but they were still like dripping out of the other one. So instead of just putting them all in one bucket, we do cohorts. Right now on the cadence we're at, we only use 1, and then 2 and 3 basically just sit there idle until we're at a point where we have to bucket them. And this is going to be all things onboarding, all questions, because if you're dropping questions and you're a brand new sales rep and there's 5 of them and they're asking all these questions in sales team or sales team questions, like it gets brutal. So we have like dedicated onboarding team that does this, like a hype officer that's in there that knows all the systems, all the everything. Sales reports, they do an end of week report for us, and then they have their own trackers and all that. But just in terms of like comms, they fill out a report that's a jot form that then zaps into here, so they're all in one place. And then sales team questions. This is any technical question. There's a couple coaches in here, and then there's also all the sales team. And so it's basically like some more technical questions or something maybe a sales rep's not going to know. Not new onboarding, not know, but like just things that are kind of crazy in different directions. And then same thing if like an order form's not working or if something's bugging, like, and they're on a call, like this is their go-to spot that they'll ask and try and get support from operations, tech, whatever, or a coach. So setters, this is new to us, so I'm going to kind of combine these, but setters, so you're going to have setter team, which is the same thing as sales team. It's just all your setters and management of that. Setter application, so these are all brand new. So where we're at currently is like, we've run this kind of in the past, but it's never worked for us, so we haven't had a setter team in the last like 2 years, so we didn't use setters at all to do any of these numbers, and now we're trying to again into the future. So setter team and then setter application. So setter application is going to be basically someone who applies but doesn't book after like 3 minutes. And then it's going to zap into there, boom, they can dial and go from there. We have AI on this already, but we're going to try and like overlap and do both of them at the same time and see how that goes. So this will be like basically like a hot leads channel. And then we will also see if this channel, eventually it likely is just going to move over to setters completely, which will be good. So, because then these guys can just focus on closing and not on hot leads and bouncing back and forth and mining the CRM and all that, because the setters will do that. Setter end of day, they do end of days. Our manager wants to push for that, so he will be doing end of days instead of end of weeks. Mandy SMS help, this is our AI bot that I was talking about. So when it flags or sees any sentiment inside there that is like maybe a human needs to step in, they push into here. So it's another like hot leads basically channel. When the AI does not want to respond, they can claim them here. And then triage team and triage operations. So triage operations is going to be, so we call triage call confirmation, or we call it triage, but a lot of people call it call confirmation. So this is the team that directly dials all of the bookings right after they're done, right after they booked. Okay, so it's like instant, hey, just want to confirm that it's this time zone, that you know it's a Zoom call, all that. So we use an offshore team right now, actually, that is 20 hours or 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. So the operations is us with just their project manager. or like team lead, and then this is the actual team of the women that are actually making the dials, and there's whatever 3 or 4 in there. Customer success. I hope this is thrilling to everyone because it is to me. Customer success. This is like lifeblood of the company. These are your diehards. They are like the glue that keeps us all together. Great team here. Community management, this is just for the actual communities. So we use Facebook as our communities because our target market's 40 to 60-year-old women. So it fits. So community management, any comms around that kind of stuff. CS escalations. So we call them escalations, and then you have like escalations tracked of basically someone wanting a refund, someone upset, someone whatever, and then you have refunds from there, and then it's a percentage of escalation to refund, and that we track on a week-over-week basis. And they crush these. So like last week we had 10 escalations on however many, 4,000 clients or something like that, and 0 refunds. So these are women that like wanted a refund, needed to talk to someone, all that, and then CS de-escalated them all. So this is basically comms around that. Customer support. This needs to almost be up here. I think it actually probably should be up there, but I'll just leave it. But customer support. This is the like. Or did I just move it on? There it is. Customer support. This is like all company customer support. Anything that involves a client goes into here. So billing requests, forms, someone can't get into something, logins. So like tech and billing manage this just nonstop. We try and keep the tech support to internal tech issues. Anything that ever touches a customer directly is going to be in here. Okay. So this is a really big channel for us. Enrollment feedback. So these are one-to-one surveys, and anytime we get feedback or any of this stuff, it gets automated and sent into these. Okay. So same thing with like setter team, sales team, like those get all those dashboards I was saying. Any of like the main hub of those will get dashboards that can then drive behavior, incentivize, and beyond. Enrollment feedback is the feedback forms that happen after the CS team does the onboarding call. Because for us, it is a close. Then they schedule in with an onboarding specialist, which is a CS rep. And then they basically make sure they have all their tech systems, they have all their docs, they're excited, all the things. And then they pass them off and assign them to a coach. Because we have 70 coaches. So it depends on availability and open and all that. So enrollment feedback is feedback on how that call went that the customer fills out. Failed payments, this is for billing. It's just if someone's auto pay in one of the pay plans or whatever breaks. This used to be way more relevant when we were selling a ton of pay plans and a ton of that. Not as relevant now, but still. Retention management, this is brand new. We are rolling out a retention team that is top sales reps that then were pod managers or pod leaders. So they had basically 10 to 15 sales reps under them because we had up to 30 sales reps at one point last year. And they now have moved over to retention. So they're completely out of front end sales. And now there's an entire system and flow in the back end that will basically create pipelines for them of women who are clients who are going to renew in 60 days. And then book calls with them, go through how their experience has been, get a bunch of valuable feedback, as well as position to then renew them into the next year. Because that's where a bunch of the money's made. I have another video where I go over this, but it's like 80% margins on the back end, or the renewal more so, than it is on the front. So this is comms all around that and specific to that. Support SMS, we have the main lines of the company that send out blasts and are just like all over everything. So that comes into here, which is also managed by the customer success lead who does all the email management as well as all these SMS management. Merchandise, external. We use an external company to do 3PL and all the stuff for all the swag that we have. We just have a very lean shop if people do want swag. It's the 9th time we've tried it. And we finally found a company external that does really good and just does everything for us. And it's high quality. So we have one of these external, supplement ops and support. So we had a testing kit that we used for the entire last year that everyone got on purchase, and then basically does a call with them and then talks to them if they want supplements, and then we get commissions. And it was a attempt to increase LTV and increase customer experience and results. It didn't really go great, if I'm gonna be honest. We're paying for all the kits. The backed out math was I don't even want to tell you how bad it was. Let's just say we lost 96% of the money in terms of what we got back, and do the math on what you think, how many commas there are. But supplement ops is the basically team that manages it, so on their side and on our side, and support is both on our side and their side, who does the actual this person didn't get a kit, this person's trying to schedule a call, all of that back and forth. So both on our side and the CS actual representative who's talking to the person in email, and then on their side of that same thing. And then ops, the people who are talking about we need different commission percentages and we need that, right? And then last piece, Coaching. So coaching for us means fulfillment. So info guys and gals. For us, we're coaching. So we have 70 coaches, or 65 or something in that range right now, that actually fulfill in the product. So one-to-one coaching. So check-ins is a part of our fulfillment process. So we have like a weekly, we have these different cadences of check-ins where the clients are submitting, and they're submitting them into here, and they also have some feedback in them. There's going to be all your coaches and then all of operations of coaches. Coaches here is the same thing as like, sales team. It's all coaches. So there's all announcements. This is any, fun and just back and forth. But those are all in there. Questions, this is going to act the same way as a sales team question. So kind of for onboarding, but mainly for like once you're in a position or like some client has an interesting request, or someone's a vegan, or someone has XYZ, disease or something, like has anyone else dealt with this? Like a lot of that questions side of things will happen in there. And then text also in there to help. Same thing with the onboarding as sales. So we will do them in cohorts when we're like ramping fast. When we get under, I believe the number is 250 to 300 open spots, that's when we start like the real hiring aggressive cadence, because sales, when they're crushing, is doing 400 plus units and then beyond in our next wave of growth is the plan. So then we start hiring to make sure that the availability is there. And then these are the same thing. So just onboarding cohorts. If they overlap, we use multiple. And in the past, we've scaled up to at least 3 onboarding in different cadences. So like week over week, they're basically starting and overflowing on the 2 to 4 week onboarding flow. Exit surveys, super valuable feedback, because for us in fitness, it's like if you help them get the result, they leave. And if you don't help them get the result, they leave. So it's kind of interesting just to gather all the information and see, definitely what they feel about the coach and the product and the overall stuff, but then like reasons they're leaving. Because then maybe we can better tune the retention team onto getting them to stay because of community and personalization, or community and accountability, but they don't need to know this and this because they learned it over the last year, right? So super valuable for us. Feedback. So that's throughout the process. Feedback is throughout the process. Exits on the way out. So feedback, these constantly are firing off. So there's a month one, there's a 6-month one, there's a random one that goes out, and these are just constantly just getting feedback from like, how do you feel about this? Like how do you feel we're doing? Where can we improve? Where can we whatever? And then these are also what route when over 9 NPS score, these route to the reviews and then gather reviews. And then weekly reports, same thing as all these other weekly reports. They do a weekly update of basically what happened, what they're working on, what's good, anything that came up or not. And yeah, so that's the general gist. So hopefully this wasn't too dry. I tried to make it a little cleaner instead of just having these all pre-written on here, so that you guys would just see everything and then just bounce. But hopefully you get some value out of these. And people are telling me I need to do editing and need editors and mics and all that. I did get a mic because audio is important, so mic's on the way. But the editing and making them all flashy and doing that, I don't know how I feel about that. It's not really my goal of this to have hundreds of thousands of views necessarily, like on these type of videos. More so just have the right people, 10 people, 1,000 people, whatever, in that range of people that are actually in the weeds, actually doing it, actually building. So that's all I got. Drop a comment, find me on Instagram, do anything, let me know what you want to see, and I can just crank out these videos whenever. So let me know.